afternoon. Hello, everybody. This is 2A Radio, the African Action Network radio and television station. Today is not inside Liberia. This is Constitution, Laws, and You, and I'm here once again. This program is produced by the African Action Network, formerly, and presenters of this program are or include Councillor Arthur T. Johnson and Anthony James and Jensen. For today, we again here alone. Arthur Johnson, Councillor Arthur Johnson is not here, and we know there's a lot going on in Liberia, and so they all might just be involved, especially sole lawyers at that point. Whatever the situation is, we are here once again and to continue the discussion about the Constitution of Liberia. As you may be aware, we always said on this program that the Constitution of Liberia should be distributed to all citizens of that country. And also the Constitution should be taught in all schools, especially universities in Liberia. When university students have learned the Constitution, it's highly possible that they can also send the message down to high school students and even on grade schools. So it is our duty here. We have obligated ourselves to look at the Constitution and be able to see how we can try to provide adequate information about this organic law. The Constitution is the primary law of that country, Liberia. So today we are here and we want to continue discussion about the Constitution. If you are aware, we started discussing the Constitution from the onset, and we started with the preamble of the Constitution. And the preamble of the Constitution, if you are a constitutionalist or you are a writer, you know what a preamble is all about. The preamble set the stage for the Constitution to be discussed. So the preamble indeed says what are the different components. It's like you get a stomach, right? The stomach get a lot of things in it. You have the intestine, you get the heart, you get everything you think about is in there. So that's how it is with the Constitution of Liberia. And as we said, we started discussing the preamble of the Constitution. And in the preamble, we talk about, who the founding fathers, what their belief was like. Did they believe in God? Did they believe in Muhammad or what have you? We said the founding fathers were Christians and they came with the Bible. And so if you read the preamble of the Constitution, you get a fund of that. And the references are right in there. And that doesn't mean then that Liberians are all Christians or there is a state religion. There's no state religion in Liberia. So it means in that country you have different religious practices in that country. We also talk about the structure of the state. You will know about the structure of the state. We talk about the right to form a government. So everything was said. We talk about you have three branches of government, and the legislative branch of government is the first, second, executive, and the judiciary. And so we went straight down talking more about that, talk about the importance, the supremacy of the Constitution itself, that is the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. So we discussed all of that and we went down to look at the general principles of national policy. And we even asked whether there is a national policy that governs Liberia. And we said, no, we don't know of any. All right. So after we discussed the national policy, we went down to looking at the fundamental rights. And we ended the fundamental rights last discussion. All right. The fundamental rights, we spoke about, rights being guaranteed by the Constitution of Liberia, inalienable rights, or those things that you were born with that you need to live with, and no one should tell you, say you cannot. No man on earth should say you should not do this. Those alienable rights are there. They are with you. So the Constitution, the framework of the Constitution enumerated them. They named them. Some of them are like what? The right to, right to life. That's something nobody can deny, right? If you deny someone his or her right, I mean, you have killed them. So nobody on the Liberian Constitution should deny anybody that basic right to life. Okay, talk about the right to, you know, to free speech, the right to movement, the right to privacy. So all of those things are enumerated. We discussed it. You want to follow more on those, you can go and find some of the slides that we presented. All right, you will get to know all of that. Okay, so we completed on the fundamental rights last discussion, and today we have a very good one, and that is trying to talk about the issue of citizenship. That is chapter 4 of the Liberian Constitution. We want to look at citizenship. I think it's good that we are discussing the Constitution because this is something that is in the news recently, or that is being discussed widely. So you see the reason why it's good to know your Constitution. If you know your Constitution, sometimes things pop up like day. You get to reference point. Oh, this is found in chapter 4 of the Liberian Constitution. Let me go and read. Let me see what the people are saying is in line with the Constitution. So this is why it's good that the framework said the Constitution must be taught in all schools. That's an obligation placed on the government. Whether the government is doing it or not, but you as a citizen, you have a responsibility yourself to inform yourself. Make sure you have an opportunity to learn wisdom. Try always to find wisdom. Try always to learn those basic things that will make you to know your basic rights so that nobody can, cause or deny you those basic tenets of the constitutional, guarantee right. All right. So today we are here. So today we are here, and we want to look at the Constitution, what it says. All right. Once again, if you are joining us, share our broadcast. We will be glad if you do. Or make your comment. We'll be glad too if you ask all of the questions. We'll try as much as possible to answer some of those basic questions. Okay, whatever you're doing today, it's a beautiful day. Thank God you are living, and thank God I'm also living. So we are glad to be here. So, what the Constitution say about citizenship, or what is your understanding about citizenship? People have talked about dual citizenship, right? Does the Constitution of Liberia permit dual citizenship? What do you think? If I were teaching you, I will ask you, what is citizenship? What would be your answer? Hmm? What's the answer? Somebody say, what is citizenship? What will you say? Or who is a citizen? It is what we are discussing here today. Liberia citizenship. What does the Constitution say? And we are glad that you have joined us. And, it's good to discuss, right? So today I'm alone. Arthur Johnson is not here. Arthur, maybe I was joking here. I said maybe I may appoint you as the Solicitor General. Oh, before I continue, there's something I just popped up before I came on, right? There is those of you who know Fatuzia, I'm not a spokesperson, but this is a national issue. When I say national issue, something just happened in the States, and her brother's son just got killed, and so saddening. I mean, Fatu was just with us in Philadelphia a few days ago, this coming weekend. She was with us. Her brother just got gunned down, and she tried calling me. I missed her call, but then she sent me the video. I just shared a video of some of the different platform. It's very sad to hear that. That's a Liberian child. These people just moved to the state not too long, and they've been here for a while. The little boy was in school, and we haven't gotten the detail yet, but it's very, very saddening, and that should concern every Liberian, wherever you are. The gun situation is becoming so troubling. So every time we're walking out there, we're all looking on our shoulders. You don't know what's going to happen next. So it's saddening that this little boy, promising young man, has just got killed instantly. They haven't gotten the person who killed him, but they are sent out. There's the police has sent out information all out there, trying to track down whoever killed this child. Okay, it's so saddening. However, I will have to call Fatu later, and those of you who know Fatu personally can call her and sympathize with her, and maybe she can also direct some of your calls to the brother. Fatu is a personal friend of mine. We all grew up around the 12th Street. Besides that, she's the wife of my friend, Alfonso Zion. Uh, so something that affect them, it affect all of us. So it's saddening to hear what has happened in our brother. We all live around the 12th Street, and they all moved to the States. So I just can't believe that this is happening. This is happening to them. So those of you who know them, you can call them just to sympathize with them. It's heartbroken, really. This is America. It happened to them. You can never tell. We are in America. I tell people, you never will tell any day. We just have to keep praying before we get outside there in the street, whatever. But it's really, really worrisome. We might discuss that in our subsequent broadcast, but since we don't want to stop this, we just thought to throw that in. All right. So we talk about the Constitution of Liberia. We talk about citizenship. What is citizenship? Liberia has passed or legislated what is considered as a dual citizenship law. What the Constitution says, let's go strictly into reading the Constitution and be able to say, what the Constitution is when it comes to citizenship. All right. So the requirement for Liberia citizenship. Now, let me say, the Constitution says, let's read the provision, and then we go straight down to, okay. Under Chapter 4, Article 27 and 28, these provisions addressed everything about citizenship of Liberia. Who is a citizen of Liberia? It's important because there are aliens, there are people who visit the country, there are people who have left the country, they are taking on other nationals, other visitors. So generally, as a living being, you belong to a country. So the framers, those who carved the Constitution, did not fail to address this matter. Who is a citizen of Liberia? If you pick up your Constitution, you ask yourself, who is a Liberian citizen? Or you see somebody in the street there, who is that person? Is that person a Liberian? Or has this person left Liberia and has taken on other citizenship? If the person did, how can the person get back to Liberia and take on Liberian citizenship again? So all of those things are involving. So the framers also mandated the national legislature to set a requirement or to further go and expand on what they created. So let's look at the Constitution. Article 27, it says all persons. Remember now, the preamble of the Constitution says all persons, all Liberians. Who is a Liberian? So, but the people, right? The people. That's the word. That's the phrase I'm looking for. The people. Who are the people? When it comes to Article 27, it says all persons who, come on the coming into force of the Constitution, were lawful citizens of Liberia, shall continue to be Liberian citizens. So before 1986 Constitution, the 1847 Constitution that gave Liberian the right to be a citizen, they spelled out who were Liberian citizens. So when that Constitution was abrogated, were renewed, or the new Constitution came into being in 1986, the framers of the 1986 Constitution did not also ignore this, because this is a cardinal point of the Constitution. So then they went ahead and said, who is a citizen of Liberia. So to set the stage, it says, since we had the old constitution, the law protected Liberia as citizens, we also must protect those people. So it said those who were citizens of Liberia prior to the 1986 constitution, the 1986 constitution considered them as citizens of Liberia. So if you are a citizen under the old constitution, you are still a citizen under the new constitution. That's what Article 27A is saying. If you are a citizen before the 86 constitution, under the 1847 constitution, it means under the 1986 constitution, you are still a citizen. That's an important point to note. All right. But significantly, we will still want to know who is a citizen. So under Article 27B, it says, in order to preserve, foster, and maintain positive Liberian culture, values, and character, only persons. Now, all of the explanations about culture, preserving positive Liberian culture and values. Now, we will ask, what do we have a culture? Do we have a defined culture? Can any Liberian say, oh, Liberia has a defined culture? If I were to ask you, what are some of the cultural, practices that you can rely on, that you can speak about? It is from these cultural practices Liberians are defined. I was in South Africa and I saw people have a flower. There's a flower. That flower is a national flower for South Africa. So when I saw those things, I started asking myself, Liberia, do you have a culture? Or you have a splendid culture? You have, something that people just do just for the sake of doing? Before somebody get vexed with me, but I'm saying it in the context of where there is a defined national culture. People do certain things and say, this is the culture of Liberia. Like, do you have a national language? Besides the English language, do you have, I think there was a time people were trying to look into which tribe or which dialect could have been considered as the standing language for Liberia. So many people say Liberians are lost. We just take anything. There is no defined cultural practices that people do. We're not talking about the Sandy, the Poro. Yeah, those things are all part of their in the sub-Saharan African belt. You find these things, the practices are there. But talk about national culture that everyone will identify with. That's what I'm talking about. Do you have a standing language? Do you have a script that Liberians know how to communicate in? I can pick up my pen and paper and write, in that language, in that script. That script is like the VAR script. I saw the VAR script. I saw the Bella script. I saw the Pella script before, and the Basso script. I saw those things. Sometimes you ask ourselves, is it like those who lived before us were smarter than us? Or we just focus our mind on the English, language and everything that is within it. So the question is, and the reason I'm saying it, because it precedes a very important statement in Article 27B. It said, in order to preserve, foster, and maintain the positive Liberian culture, values. What are our values as a people? What are our values? And character. What kind of character are we, Liberian? Whatever you can, whether you are naturalized, outside, whatever. But ask yourself, what character do I have? Is it a corrupt character? Is it a character of good standing? Is it a character of respect? Is it a character of just looking at people and respecting them? I don't know. So when people talk about national policy, all of these things could have been defined Liberia had a national policy. But if you don't have a national policy should have been, we said it from the onset, but we continue to chop some of those things in. This our presentation is a little bit short, so we throw some of the things. So national policy, as we said before, the government of the day should have ensured that there is a national conference calling every sector of the Liberian society to begin to look at the issue of what is our policy, a policy program. On top of policy, we're not talking about those things you do in administrative, agencies. We're talking about look at the country as a whole, and then you come out, you carve a document that any other government comes into being, they go strictly by that policy program that is being held. If you have a national policy on roads, that policy should not be deviated. If you have a national policy on education, it should not be deviated. You have a national policy on what? On traditional practices, it should not be deviated. We're talking about national policy on culture. What is the accepted culture that everybody should respect? If you see a child needs to bow when he or she sees an older folks, that should be. I mean, you can help Liberia to move in certain direction. If you say no child should abuse an older folks, if it is a national policy, that policy can be enforceable by the state security agencies, and they will ensure that such a national policy, a provision of that, is captured and placed into those administrative agencies so that everybody can begin to respect and act accordingly. It doesn't mean because you don't have a national policy, you can't strive to get one. It depends on those who are in leadership that will begin to look at Liberia in a very different way. So it's a values and character. So all this, they say, well, only presence. So they believe then that we will have Liberian in a unique situation, and they say that only persons who are Negroes or of Negroes descent shall qualify by birth or by naturalization to be citizens of Liberia. Okay? So people who are of Negro and of Negro descent shall be qualified as Liberian. So we ask ourselves, who is a Negro, or who is a Negro or of Negro descent? We talk about these things. Oh, Negro. Who is a Negro? In America now, you have to be careful who you call Negro, because Americans, they see that term to be an insult. So in America, people don't use that word. The American people are so unique. They try as much as possible to ensure that people don't get to feel discriminated. But Negro is in the Constitution of Liberia. I have read it. You have read it. So the Liberian context, we don't think beyond what has been written. We don't ask ourselves. Even people thinking about amending the Constitution, people don't do things in a holistic manner. We want to amend the Constitution. Can we set up a very special committee that will look at every spectrum, every provision of the Constitution, and be able to catch some of these issues? People of Negro descent. Now, I try to look up the word, and so a race, Negro is somebody, a race, native African, someone who is a native to an African, to the African continent. That person is a Negro. All right, someone who has a dark skin, that person is a Negro. Even the way you say it, look at you have a dark skin. Somebody feel offended. They feel you are discriminating them from the rest of the world. Like when I went to school at Penn State, in my class, I was the only black guy, right? So if I was very inferior, I would have failed. I would have been intimidated. I would have had some, maybe I wouldn't have ended the school year. All right. Well, hey, if you know yourself, you know your identity, you know where you come from. Sometimes, when the school, I think the dean did they had a video of all of our activities on campus. So we met in the auditorium, and it was like, you know, they showed a video. It's like Jensen was almost like in almost all of the videos. So the dean looked at me. He said, "Dean, but Jensen is like, you know, you surprise us. It's like you have no border. You know, everybody over there, and that's honestly that's how it was. Even though I was very strange on the campus, I was strange to a lot of things. But the important reason I'm saying it is that it is of true. People discriminate people because of black color, because of a dark skin. So in America, people try to do as much as possible to redefine that. Do you call someone a Negro? And there's a particular word I catch here. So the word that was from Wikipedia. Wikipedia says the word Negro derived from the Latin word nigger. Hey, you nigger. You hear that most often, right? So you see now. So if someone was amending the Constitution, was trying to amend the Constitution, and you define who a Negro is by the standard of such engines around, you would have suggested that we amend or we change this word. You know, find a more suitable or convincing word for the word Negro. All right, because Negro, as defined, as you can see here, and this is from Wikipedia, it's not my own, it's not my creation there. It's derived from the Latin word nigger, meaning what, black. And the way you emphasize, look at your black face. Look at you, you're so black. Sometimes you go in the midst of some other race, people look at you with different eyes. You know, I was in a car with few friends yesterday, and they said, somebody asked me, "Where are you from?" You know, those kind of questions you always come forth, right? Where are you from? I'm here. So what you want to, what you know? So for me, as a person, I can smile. Then when I smile, then I begin to address the issue. And when you ask me where you from, I know where you're coming from already. So I get prepared to address you. And so now what I do, I take it from a different angle. And so now I just make reference to the school I attended, and I bring you to where I'm coming from. And I tell you, even if you get in China, I don't go to my root and tell you how even I was born, because I'm not sure of that. That's something that happened. I cannot change it. And so we live with it. So the issue of Negro is why people who are Negro or of Negro descent can be citizens of Liberia. Now, a lot of other questions come into that. People of Negro descent. There are people who are not African, but they have dark skin. We have dark skinned people in India. We have dark skinned people in other countries, right? So if you say people of Negro descent, those people with dark skin, like I was reading some other documentary, Paul Coffey. Paul Coffey has his root from India. But Paul Coffey played a major role when it comes to how free slaves did return to Liberia. So who is a Negro? Can we allow Black Indians to become a Liberian? Because this is what the law says. So if you don't change the law, that's what the law is. All right? So that's why when people are framing constitutional, they want to amend, you find lawyers, form a commission, form a committee, you start something, and people do things holistic. People shouldn't go about many law, maybe okay, because maybe okay, this person is in power, his son is this, his son must also enjoy this country, or this person is this, and all. You cannot create law on the basis of that. You do that, you make that mistake. You don't even look at the issues that are supposed to be looked at. All right. For example, this is something that maybe those who are legislators could be looking at right now, right? To see what is it. Oh, we didn't know that Negro means nigger. Hey, you nigger. Who want to be called a nigger? But by this definition, by this standard of our constitution, a Negro is a nigger. So Liberians are niggers, right? If you say that, Liberian feel insulted, right? So why can you advocate for this to be changed? And see this nigger. That's what Wikipedia says. You know, when you say, see this nigger, then you get vexed. Why would you call me a nigger? Right? People get vexed. You call them nigger. But that's the meaning of Negro. Okay? That's the meaning of Negro. So you must be in a know to be able to call for an amendment of the Constitution of Liberia and which provisions, which are the part of plan. Okay, so the basic thing here today, we're talking about the Constitution of Liberia and we're talking about citizenship. Who is a citizen of Liberia? So the first thing we're talking about is someone who is of a Negro, someone who is a Negro or of a Negro descent. Now that makes some little mistake here. This spelling here should be Negro, not S. Someone who is of a Negro or who is a Negro, Negroes, Negro descent, Negro or Negro descent, right? So someone who is a natural born person. These are the requirements of Liberian citizenship. When you are a natural born, you are a Liberian. Meaning natural born, you're going to look at that. When you are naturalized, you see Liberia, you see your culture, you see your value, you see your character, you say, oh, I want to be part of this country. And then when you're saying that, I mean, you also, first and foremost, you must know that you're from a Negro descent. You're not from a Negro descent, you cannot even, make a decision to be a Liberian. Now, that's another argument. People say, why should Liberia go to the United States, take the citizenship? Why can't the American go and take a citizenship? First thing I'll ask you, do you think Liberian, the American really want to take Liberian citizenship? If you better that country to a standard well appreciated, then maybe other national will want to be, hey, I want to be over there. I feel living there. I like the culture. I want to go to waterfall. I want to. That means you have created all the tourist centers that people go in there they can appreciate. But if you don't do that, you have not opened a corridor for people to love that country more. Make Liberia better, create atmosphere, make job available, better education, better health facilities. Who want to leave that country? Even people who are Liberians who have naturalized themselves here, they will spend most of their time over there. They want to go there and look for a job over there and want to live in those areas. Well, Liberian go where he gets sick. The first thing is the moment he gets sick in the night, thinking about, oh, my son missing America right there. Oh, I wish I am America. My insurance, my health insurance, I would have just walked to the hospital. This is why people should always be anxious to be leaders for to better conditions. All right. So, who is a natural born? So, what people have Negro, people who are Negroes. Now, with one Negro, right? I don't want to say that, but it's just a fact. You go and define who a Negro is. A Negro is a nigger. That's what it says. Do we accept that? No, it's insulting. So yeah, it's truly insulting, and nobody will want to be called a nigger. I don't want anybody to call me a nigger. Sometimes I can be very much, like in our terrain here. Just ask me where you from. I want to say, yeah, you give me an opportunity to tell you who I am. Maybe, but don't take out the rap. But this is the word. The challenges are out there. So you yourself, when you are a lawmaker, when you want to pick out the Constitution, be key on some of these words, the phrases that are in there. Do you want to change anything in there? You want to change it? Draw a line or take a notebook. Every time there's an argument, take your time going and open the Constitution, look into it, and decide to change whatever. Mark those things you think you can change. When you put yourself in a nationalistic position, you better the society. But if you're doing things because, oh man, I want when the more end, I take my little thing and move on. And there will come a time you got bitten by the very things that you do. And so it's very late. All right. So who is a natural born? A natural born is someone who is born onto a Liberian parent. If you're natural born, I mean, oh, my parent came from Bablu County. They lived there, they born there, their parents born in there, and all of those things. So my great-great-grandparents, they came from Lofa. They came from Liberia. They came from Lofa, Bablu, cut off, and all of those things. You see all of those things. So you ask me for the cultural value, and maybe I will fall short of some of those things, right? Because I didn't grow up there, right? But my heritage, my beginning, where did I come from? And when I came from wherever I came from into this world, there where my root is. So then, born onto a Liberian parent, you can be considered as a citizen of Liberia. And further goes to say, when you are born onto one Liberian parent, you are a citizen of Liberia. Also, bear in mind, there are many other questions surrounding this thing. And we see what the Constitution mandates to further, right? When you are born to a Liberian parent, let's first, for example, let's bring a look practical. Jensen is in America. Jensen sees, no, I don't think I should apply that to myself, right? Uh, John Brown, let me use it, let me use different things. Somebody say, this and get it out of context. Jensen sees this, let me see Jensen again. This John Brown saw this a white girl, people who is not of Negro descent, and decided to, for some reason, born by this white girl. That child that is born, that child has, now the question I will ask, why if that child doesn't get a dark skin? What happens? Is that child not a Liberian? Because the person is not a dark skin, but this is where I say that to bring it to the world is someone of a Negro descent. So even if John Brown, a Liberian, born by an American, white-colored American, and that child took the mother's color, even though the child doesn't have a dark skin, but that child is of a Negro descent. That's the important thing I want to emphasize. That person is of a Negro descent. And because he's of a Negro descent, so you see there's also a conflict in there. Negro, you must be a Negro to be a Liberian citizen. But the preposition or will also give room for those who may not have a dark skin. But I from the lineage, the yeah, the heritage, the lineage, right? That's the word, the lineage. So when you come from, the background of certain segment of Liberian society, you can be a Liberian, or but you from a dark skin, whether you're from a dark skin and don't have um what don't have a Liberian parent, wonder what happened. Now, these things are all part. What we're doing here, we're just trying to discuss the Constitution, but the Constitution itself, there are some ambiguities, there are some doubts, there are some questionable issues. And those questionable issues, it is left with the legislature to draft the necessary laws that will fill in the gaps. All right? So, naturalization, a Negro or people of Negro descent who applies to be a citizen. Now, I added that there, a Negro, because you cannot apply for naturalization when you do not have the first qualification. You must have first be a Negro or of a Negro descent before you can apply for naturalization. Now, these things people don't, catch these points. And sometimes someone say, oh, we're going to issue naturalization, dual citizenship, all this, so we're going to discuss some of those things a little bit. But important, let's say, someone who is of a Negro or of a Negro descent, that person can apply to be a Liberian citizen. That's the key point. Now, how do you go about naturalizing? To naturalize, it means you must go in the country, you must have lived. Now, there are rules. The Constitution says, let's go quickly what the Constitution says. The Constitution says, okay, in order to preserve, blah, 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 the legislature shall, the legislature shall, come on, adhering to the above standard. I mean, all of this in above here, someone being of a Negro and of Negro descent can be a citizen and, everything out there. Then you say what? Adhering to the above standard prescribes such other qualification. You should prescribe other qualification criteria for the procedures by which naturalization may be obtained. How do people naturalize? Is stated in the Alien and Nationality Law of Liberia. The first thing is you must have resided in the country. Either you might have had a relationship with a Liberian. If some of the foreigners come in there, people of Negro descent get in there. You can be from any of the African continent. You have the dark skin, whatever is that Negro descent. That's a whole lot of argument in yourself when talking about Negro descent. But for the purposes of our discussion here, when you want to apply for naturalization, the procedures are spelled out in the Alien and Nationality Law. Okay, you have to apply. Your application will have to be accepted. There are requirements that you have to submit. Or which country are you denying? All of those things, there are a whole lot of things you need to understand first. Then when you do all of those things, the Attorney General or the immigration commissioner. These people are people responsible. They go through all of the formality, and after that, you go to the civil law court. All right, and then you take an oath. We take the only reason for an oath is to deny any other citizenship you may have had to take on Liberian citizenship. When you should have done that, then you have naturalized as a Liberian. That's important. All right. So the legislature prescribed the rules, the criteria, the procedural steps as to how to follow through in becoming a Liberian citizen. That's for Article 27. So there's a whole book on this. This identical aspect of the Constitution. There's a whole provision, or what I can say, a book on this provision: citizenship, Negro descent, who become a citizen, somebody born child outside, what that child is, and all of those things. There's a whole lot for this, just for this stuff. Okay, Article 27 says what? Any persons, at least one of whose parent was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, shall be a citizen of Liberia. That's some of the requirement. If you were born as a Liberian, now the question would be, why if the child is born outside of Liberia? Right? How can that child fit into this? But this law was created for Liberia and for people within the territorial confines of Liberia. So when people leave and do any other thing outside of the law, before you take action, you must go and do thorough research. And that's what lawyers are trained for now, to go and search the alien nationality law and see whether John Brown being born outside Liberia, but yet born of a Liberian parent, what can he enjoy as to become a citizen? All right. So Liberian at time of the person's birth shall be a citizen of Liberia, provided, and that's a condition for the Constitution, provided. You can be a citizen of Liberia if you had a Liberian parent, but say what? Provided that any such person shall, upon reaching maturity, renounce any other citizenship acquired by virtue of one parent being a citizen of another country. So John is a citizen of Liberia, Mary is a citizen of the United States. They born a child. That child, now according to the American standard, I think it's important to emphasize this. A child is born in America. That child does not have dual citizenship. Somebody will say because the child is on an age, is between that age of I think 21 or so, that child is both American and Liberian. No. The American law says when you are born on this soil, the moment you are born, you are considered as an American citizen. That child doesn't have any dual citizenship role. The only condition is when that child reaches the age of maturity, I'm forgetting the actual, I think out of 18 or 21 years, that child makes a decision. That means that child is getting a point to understand, my parent came from Liberia, so I want to be a Liberian. So the person comes to Liberia, or the person goes to Liberia and naturalizes there. And the person denounced the citizenship that was given them at birth in America. When you are born here, there's a law on that. I can't quote that right now. The immigration law, there's a particular law on that says when you are born here, you are automatically a citizen of the United States, despite you having a Liberian parent or one of your parents being Liberian, until that child reaches that certain age before you can take that decision of becoming a Liberian or an American. But it doesn't say because the law says when you reach the age of maturity means that you are of both citizenship. No, it doesn't work that way. Even this law, the interpretation of this law would be any person, at least one of whose parents was a citizen of Liberia at the time of the person's birth, shall be a citizen of Liberia, period. Right? If you're born as a child, until you reach maturity, you make a decision whether your mind be an American, you want to be an American citizen, is up to you. Right? But the fact that you are a Liberian, you're born in Liberia, the Liberian law says you are a Liberian until you get to a certain age, you make that decision. Okay? So it says Liberia at the time of the person's birth shall be a citizen of Liberia. That's what it says. Come on, shall, not say maybe, shall be a citizen of Liberia, provided that any such person shall, upon reaching, the only thing is when you reach a certain age, it is obligated on you to make a decision because you have one of your parents being Liberian and one being another citizenship, being of another citizenship. All right. So these are the basic issues that you need to know here. Any such person shall, upon reaching maturity, renounce. The word renounce means you deny every other citizenship you have. Now, when the Constitution puts the forceful words here, to amend, you have to see how you get rid of these words. The Constitution, when you reach certain age, it doesn't say you must take dual citizenship. You must renounce your citizenship. You must make a decision. That's what the law says. All right. Any other citizenship, you must renounce any other citizenship acquired by virtue of one parent being a citizen of another country. No citizen of the Republic shall be deprived of citizenship or nationality. So, everybody, this is a natural right that is spelled out here. The fact that you are born, you have that right to make a decision. I want to be a citizen of America. I shouldn't be denied. The law cannot stop me. I want to be a citizen of Liberia. I want to be a citizen of Sierra Leone. I want to be a citizen of Guinea. I want to be a citizen of Africa Coast. Nobody should stop anybody from doing that. That's what the law says. Okay, and one parent being a citizen of another country. No citizen of the Republic shall be deprived of citizenship or nationality, except as provided by law. Except as provided by law. What does it say? And no person shall be denied the right to change citizenship or nationality. No persons shall be denied the right to change citizenship or nationality. Now, having read this, we ask ourselves, where is the issue of dual citizenship in the Constitution? Now, we're not going to emphasize this too much. There's a lot being said out there, and we all have had a lot of discussions on other platforms discussing whether dual citizenship is indeed in existence in Liberia. I have only advised people before you take important decisions like you want to vote in an election, you want to travel, you want to get into few other important issues, you want to serve in governmental position, you want to contest a position in Liberia, you need to seriously consider a lawyer, consult a lawyer. Don't sit and take the street argument and put it on your head and go do things. Particularly so 2023 election is coming. If you are a citizen of the United States, you're a citizen of France, a citizen of any other country, you must consult a lawyer before you take certain decisions, or else you could probably just be in a jeopardy. All right? So these are important issues that we've been talking, and it's good that we all keep reading the Constitution and know where we are. All right? So okay, this is just some emphasis. Naturalization and Negro or people of Negro descent who applies to be citizen of Liberia can be depending. People can apply for citizenship, right? And their application could be denied. It's not automatic. It doesn't mean that when you apply for citizenship, that means you are given automatic citizenship. When you apply for citizenship, there are questions, questionnaires, there are information you must provide. If you provide a certain information, let's say, for example, they say they don't want criminal, maybe hardcore criminal. Even though you have a Negro descent, but you are a terrorist, you have that kind of a background. The immigration people who are responsible to find good citizens to be Liberians will also have to deny your application because they found out that you have a terroristic background or you just have that core criminal background. So they say, no, this person will not allow the person to be a citizen. So application is not all to a. You apply, you go through all of the formality and all those things. At the end of the day, you will be denied your application. That's why in America, people who apply to become citizen, they keep worrying until that whole process comes to an end because the people don't take these issues lightly. And we hope Liberia reach to a point where when you appoint people to this kind of position, immigration commissioner, the immigration commissioner should take Liberian citizenship very important. Even Liberians keep crying for citizenship. Which one of the Liberians can actually prove ownership of citizenship? What proof do you have in your hand? How many Liberians get passport? How many Liberians get their citizenship certificate? You think the people care to say, you know what, this is a country. The only way we can take control of this country is to issue citizenship certificate to all Liberians. Every Liberian must apply for citizenship or record. We must strengthen the record. We must have a database. We must have take inventory of our country. We will say of 5 million persons. Those 5 million persons must have a citizenship certificate. Okay? Or you want to give what they call a citizenship identification card, but I would think it should go beyond identification card. So that tomorrow when that generation fade out, when that generation are dead and gone, the other generation will come. We see a system, and people will appreciate to see what people are doing or what they did before. Not to pretend, oh, you want to do something, you want to do. Before you even appoint an immigration commissioner, you must have looked into your country. Is there anybody in your country who has knowledge in immigration law? Who is prepared, someone who is very studious, who can be prepared to strategize, who can be prepared to look at Liberia from a different viewpoint? Not people who just want to make money. When you should have done that, then someone take the job, the person begin to look into Liberia, look at Liberian government officials who become, who should give, immigration papers to. Then you start to lay good foundation. But then just like, oh man, we all just don't care. Naturalization are just muff talk. Somebody leave Liberia, go outside, they naturalize. When someone denounce their citizenship and take another citizenship, when they're going back, that person, there must be a procedural step for that person to be re-admitted into Liberia. For example, I said an example on Georgia. The Georgia left Liberia and became naturalized outside. He be a permanent person to revert to Liberian citizenship. It shouldn't be of any secret. You must have done that. There must have been a record that he who left and went to Liberia and took on another citizenship, he returned and you took on Liberian citizenship. When you do these things, then every other person are following through. They begin to do these honorable things and left, and they will leave behind a good record for the nation to see, for people to see. Oh yeah, there's a country of laws. We can't be talking about a country of laws and you don't even know what you're doing. People decide to bend the laws and do it and please themselves. You can't do that. If you do that, you hurt the city, you hurt the country. When people begin to tread on lies and deception and all of those things, it hurt the country. So that's for other countries. If, for example, you are a citizen of America and you left, you went outside to another citizen, and you came back and you want to be a president of the United States, trust me, they will tear you apart. They will search you out. They might not even get a hint, the rumor even. Or there might not even be a piece of paper like you have or record on BBC that says, oh, so thing. And they begin to search you out. Because guess what? When you become the president of a nation, the secrets of the country, the security of the country, everything that is about the resources of the country, people begin to look at it in that direction. This is why other people don't take nothing for granted. Even people who are legislators. If you are a legislator, you will have even your friend in some situation like this. The very first thing you should be thinking about what? To uphold the Constitution and laws of the Republic. So hold somebody by the standards of the Constitution, not because the person, oh no, the person is my person, the person is this and that, other thing. If you got elected, you got elected primarily to uphold the Constitution. That should be the primary responsibility of each and everyone. So legislators, you are there to hold the executive accountable. Like for example, this whole noise are going on all around. Lawmakers don't care. They rather want to work for the executive. We're hearing people not threatening other people. And then we'll discuss that later, right? A lawmaker saying, for job we have business, I would have killed somebody. Somebody would disappear. For God in heaven's sake. All the other lawmakers that are good in that legislature, trust me, they're supposed to sack that man, even though he's one of them, investigate him, in fact, send him before the judicial committee. Somebody among you guys should now write the leadership and complain Solomon George. And so Solomon George has said something that does not represent us as lawmakers. He cannot be talking about people disappearing. That shouldn't be the mindset of a lawmaker. You are a legislator and you're talking something, far from what you're supposed to be doing. Somebody talking about somebody disappearing. and people being dying, people being disappearing. Why can't we hold him responsible for that? His own words are sufficient to indict him and make sure he's suspended or removed from the legislature. You can't get the kind of I don't want to use words here, but it's too offensive to hear people say political party who are enemies of CDC, who are just naming police director, they will disappear. That's scary, right? Anyway, we'll discuss that. We don't want to go off track here, but we're bringing it in because there is a role when you have citizens, people who are natural born, people who are naturalized, people who believe in the system. We want to see a very good government. All right. So naturalization, there's a whole book on that. Then you come to what a requirement for naturalization. As we said again, the legislature shall prescribe procedure for naturalization. Now, I already gave them the right. They must prescribe the procedure, not to decide who is to be a citizen, not to make decision on dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is not requirement. People want to rely on this provision of the law. The law did not say you must create a dual citizenship as a legislator. It says, well, you must create what? Procedures for naturalization. Creating procedure for naturalization, it doesn't mean you must create. It's like you are, the lawmakers are acting like the framers of the Constitution. This recent law, the dual citizenship, they acted like those who were redrafting the Constitution. To say dual citizenship exists, that means you have amended the Constitution and inserted who should be a citizen. That means give citizenship to someone who is also of a different nationality. It's not creating a requirement here. So the provision cannot fit into what you did. Howbeit, that's Liberia. You have passed a law, that's why it is. I'm sure maybe any legislator come. There are many good ways to do it. Those things are sweet to hear about. Liberians get dual citizenship, they can enjoy it. But the way you do it, so you're not going to get many persons speaking on those things like that because how many persons in Liberia have taken the time to go to law school and decide to specialize in immigration law? You know, people are afraid because the tediousness to sit down one place to study, people don't want to do it. But everybody wants to be the one to say what the law is. Sometimes they say the wrong thing, right? So that basically it. The legislature shall prescribe procedures for naturalization. That's what the law is talking about. Okay, citizenship by birth. We have already said that at time of birth, at least one parent, a citizen, is a citizen. So if your mine is a Liberian citizen, you are a citizen. If your parent is a Liberian citizen and mine is not a Liberian citizen, you are a citizen. That's what it says. Until you reach certain age, then you make a decision. Then we also talk about renunciation under the same condition. At age of maturity, you should make that decision. We said all of those again. All right. It's important that we continue to understand these things. Is the immigration law issue is not a guesswork. These are not amateur things. You want to change the law, go through it, set up a committee, a commission, and people go through it. There are procedural steps to follow. All right, so today is it's a beautiful day, and we are glad to be here. Arthur Johnson should have been with me here, but unfortunately, he's not here. I was joking today. I said, my man, they can appoint you as Solicitor General. He got afraid. He texted me quick. And I don't want to say anything. That was our private conversation, right? I don't want to say anything beyond that. Okay. So, but actually, there are a lot of things going on in Liberia. Anything can happen in Liberia. There are people who are prepared for those positions, and those people get the position. Nobody should be denied position. Except that I know people be thinking, okay, the government is almost ending. Why would I want to go in and go dirty and say, you don't want to dirty yourself? You can make a record. You can set a record for 1 month. If you really know yourself and you want to change that society, they appoint you for a short period of time. You really know what you're doing. Your record will speak for itself for the time you serve. So it shouldn't be people afraid. They're probably messing up government. Or am I going to join? No, it shouldn't be the case. The government should be better. The place you get, anything you should know that the time you get in, you yourself must watch yourself. When you're taking money, make sure you're taking money. Take it on the basis of your salary. Don't get in at a short time and you'll say you get more than by the system. So if you don't trust yourself, don't take the proposition. Okay? So no deprivation of what? Citizenship. You can't deny anybody citizenship of Liberia. Nationality, you can't deny anybody. The right to change citizenship or nationality, you can't deny anybody. So when you see these forceful decisions, They are meant to give Liberians the opportunity to decide. Do not deprive anyone the right of citizenship. Think about it for a longer time. Don't just say it and pass away. Do not, do not deny anybody the right to citizenship. So that person has a choice to make. Can I be a citizen? And it said, do not deny anybody nationality. So what is nationality? What's the difference between citizenship and nationality? Someone who is a citizen, we already got to know that, right? This person is this person. So when you are a national, that means you decide to take on what naturalization. You are not a citizen. A citizen in America, even in America, those who naturalize, there's a difference between those who are citizens and those who are nationals. In fact, for America, they get a special definition of those who are nationals. You hear somebody say, oh, like America get dual citizenship. No, America doesn't have dual citizenship. America has granted certain national to people who from other countries. There are island countries that America has given them that right to enjoy citizenship of their country and become national of the United States. You know, so when the Constitution says, do not deprive do not deprive anybody who is a citizen or anybody who is a national, someone who has nationality, someone who has naturalized and is a national. That person is not a citizen. Now there's a difference. This is a terminology now. People will be thinking differently too, right? There's a difference between citizenship and nationality. When you naturalize as a Liberian, you are not a Liberian citizen. You are a naturalized Liberian citizen. You are a national of Liberia. You are not a citizen of Liberia. It's some confusion, right? When you naturalize as a Liberian, you are not a citizen of Liberia. Now, that's a little confusion in there, right? But the Constitution spell it out. And even just as you see it on the board here, don't deprive someone of a citizenship and do not deprive someone of nationality. So don't deprive someone who want to become naturalized, someone who want to be a naturalized citizen. That person, you can qualify as a naturalized citizen, but that person is not a citizen. Now, this could be low technical and then maybe strange to many person. If you say someone who naturalized is not a citizen, people may think a bit differently, but that's true. Those who are citizens are those who are natural born. Those who are natural born are citizens of the country. But those who have naturalized, they are national of the country. Okay, anyway, I'm not teaching immigration law here. Okay, and the right to change citizenship or nationality, even the term is like you are a citizen or a national, or you are having citizenship or nationality. So when you have these two, they say, well, do not deprive anyone who want to change it anytime. So this is where we are. Time is fast spent. We got a little bit 3 minutes into our discussion today. But again, this is we've been discussing from chapter 4, Article 27 and Article 28 of the Liberian Constitution. It was a nice time being with you guys, on today's program, and we hope that you will join us anytime we sit here. Let's see whether we have some comments, whether we can read a few comments here. We have you guys who have been following here, and we have Stephen Parker. Stephen Parker says, let me take out this one first. Remove this. Okay, Stephen Parker says, whoa. Okay, whoa means he's hearing some things it's just good that he heard some of those things. Okay, and Stephen Parker again said, great topic. Yeah, Stephen, it's good that you are around. Maybe you can help too when you're in some covered up discussion. You can begin to discuss some of those things that you just may have heard. All right, and so this one too. So, good evening. I am joining in from Liberia. Okay, Stephen, I'm in Pennsylvania. I enjoy when the sun is hot here, and I have to cut off my air condition because of the noise that disturb. Okay, so this is Michelle. Michelle says, well, thanks. Yeah, Michelle, it's good that you joined us. It was a pleasant time to have you with us. Okay. This is we have please share the broadcast. Yeah, another patient in the background asking everybody to share the broadcast. Yeah, it's true. You come and join us, just help us share the broadcast. A lot of people need to get knowledge. And it's now we're not doing this thing because we want to show up. We don't care. We just feel like, look, there's a time you need to know certain things, right? And you have time to listen to anybody. I'm curious. When I tell people, say I can listen to almost all the podcasts on social media. You wouldn't believe it, you know. And sometimes, like, just something wouldn't just interest me, so I just see it and just leave it. But importantly, it's good to listen to other people. You will always learn a lot. I'm joining from the old, what, Open Bible Community, Old Road, Congo Town. Okay, um, Nisha is good that you follow us. It was a nice time to have had other people with us. Once again, we want to end here, and the next time this was on citizenship. The next session will be on the national legislature. So you want to follow through, join us on Wednesday next week. We start with the national legislature. If you have any question from where we start from the preamble to the points where we just discussed the citizenship issue, you have any issue, you can let us know. Once you know why, we'll go and just do some summary of those places we have passed. If there's any concern, let us come out, or any issue come out in it while that country is in existence. We also will go to those provisions and also add, also try. Okay, so Emmanuel Kuruma says joining us from where? From the UAE. Oh wow, Dhabi. I'm joining you from Abu Dhabi. Okay, that's good. UAE. The UAE is a beautiful country. I've read about it. I did a research when I was in grade school, in undergraduate. I remember I was doing political science. That was a project I did for the UAE. I know that's a rich country. All right. So, Imaya, we want to say thank you for joining us. It was a pleasant time to have you with us. So, having said those, we want to say thank you all for joining us. And until Wednesday next week, keep sharing our video, keep following two-way video. Two-way video is here to stay. And you and us can help to make a society better. When one society gets better, guess what? No matter where you are in the world, you feel good. And that is our concern. So we want to say thank you, all of you guys who've been with us. Until next time, stay tuned, keep safe.